Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I sincerely do appreciate it. And in today's episode, I'm going to be doing a house overview of 9 fragrances by a company that I recently discovered, and this company is called Monarch Parfums. So make sure to stay tuned. So this is a brand that was just launched in 2019. It's called Monarch Parfum. They already have tons of fragrances on their website. And the founder of the company, or the CEO of the company, is a gentleman by the name of Hassan Rahman. And he reached out to me on Facebook Messenger a few days ago, maybe even up to a week ago. And he asked me if I wouldn't mind sampling his new line. And so I said, yes, it would be my pleasure. And I picked maybe like 3 or 4 bottles that I'd be interested in sampling. I certainly wasn't expecting him to send me all 4. I thought he was going to send me like 1 bottle or maybe even samples. And so I was pleasantly surprised when I came home one day and I saw 9 bottles or 2 separate packages on my doorstep. And so Hassan, thank you so much for that. You sincerely didn't have to send me so much product, but it's my pleasure to do a video for you at this moment. And so the owner of the company, he is of Bangladeshi origins, and so he's representing Bangladesh. And these are fragrances that are inspired by more popular designer or niche fragrances. I think, as a matter of fact, 2 or 3 fragrances in this list are based off of vintage designer fragrances. One of them is based off of vintage M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. The other one is based off of Dior Homme Intense, or like a vintage formulation of Dior Homme Intense. And so I'm really excited to spray these and to get you my thoughts, my first impressions on camera. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first one, these are pre-sprayed, by the way. I sprayed them maybe 10 minutes ago. And so I'm just going to go through the list and I'm going to tell you the names and what they are. Okay, so the first one is called Dew, or Roman numeral 2. And this is their take on Molecule O2 by Eccentric Molecules. Now, I know these happen to be singular compositions, and so I'm not too familiar with Molecule O2. I know Molecule O1 is the one that people talk about quite a lot. But this one smells very pleasant to my nose. It smells rather simple, linear. This is what I imagine the original also smells like. Just because a lot of these fragrances by this company are made using synthetic molecules, so it's kind of difficult to mess it up. But this one smells really nice. This is a type of smell, kind of green and earthy, and I would personally like to layer this smell with other fragrances that I have in my collection, almost treat it like a pillow or an underbody, and then spray the actual scent up on top just to sort of enhance the longevity. And so I really like the way that this one smells. The next one is called Bravura, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, is their interpretation of Vintage M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. And yeah, kind of smells like M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. So this is one that I also own. I purchased it when it was like 50% empty. I had a friend selling it on Facebook, and I sent him a PM, and I ended up purchasing it right on the spot. And I really like M7. So M7 is said to be the first designer interpretation of the note of oud, or the first mass-marketed interpretation of the note of oud. And so it's a creamy, woodsy, sort of resinous and oudy composition that is very easy to wear, very accommodating. And this just smells incredibly pleasant to me. This is one that I can see myself wearing a lot more now that the weather is starting to get a little bit colder outside. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. Thank you again, Hassan. The next one is, okay, so this one is called Sympathy. And this is their take on Dior Homme Intense and the vintage formulation of that. Now, truth be told, I don't have the vintage formulation. I know there were some with like a silver collar, and then you had the black collar, or the black stem, I should say. And this one just smells like Dior Homme Intense. And so it has that powdery sort of lipstick feel, but you also have a really pleasant sweetness that guides the composition. And so in the case of a fragrance like this, I love this type of smell. I know another one that I am very fond of is Valentino Uomo. I also like Noir Absolute. That happens to be one of my favorite flankers from the company. But this one is done so nicely, and you have that really pleasant iris with the sweetness underneath it all. And in terms of the quality, to me, it's triggering a lot of the same memories, and so it smells just as pleasant as the original Dior Homme Intense. And so, if you are a seeker of the vintage formulation, but you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on eBay for somebody who's willing to let a bottle go from many years ago, here at least you can buy something that was compounded freshly and will create a very similar feel. And so, I like this one. Thank you. Thank you again for this one. I'm happy to have this one. The next one, if my memory serves me right, okay, yeah. So this one is called Timberland, and this is their impression of Spice and Wood by Creed. So Spice and Wood is another fragrance that I got in on a split for, just because the bottle itself at the time was like well over $600. At the time I didn't, and I still don't have the money to spend on such, such a price tag. But in the case of this fragrance, I really enjoy this one. So this is one of my favorite Creed fragrances. It also happens to be the Creed fragrance that I get the best performance from. I get really good performance from Aventus. I get really good performance from Royal Oud, and I had a generously sized decan of that. And Spice and Wood is another one that just does really well on my skin. And just smelling it off the test strip here, I don't even have to bring it right up to my nose to smell it. You can tell it's strongly concentrated. And so I think they call their concentration Essence de Parfum. So I'm not exact on the specific percentage of oils used, but it smells rather strong to me. And this is one that I just love the smell of. I love Spice and Wood. It happens to be one of my favorite Creed fragrances. And so this is one, if I'm mistaken, I did not request. And so thank you for sending this to me anyway. I'm really happy to have it in my collection now. Let's see what the next one is. Okay, so this is called, this is your Creed Aventus Cologne clone. So this is called Revolution Cologne. So I believe they have two fragrances, one of them called Revolution, which is their take on Creed's Aventus, and then they have Revolution Cologne, which is their take on Aventus Cologne. Yep, smells just like Aventus Cologne. Smells very fresh and pleasant, definitely a casual, everyday Swiss Army knife type of a scent. And if I remember correctly, I checked my Facebook group this morning and I saw that the CEO of the company was posting a promotion for like a Black Friday special. And so I think they're doing 30% off. If I find the information, I'll leave it down below. So I think per ml, this is the most affordable interpretation of this fragrance that is currently available on the market. And so I know they have 100 ml size bottles, and the 100 mls are $100, but for 30% off, it's like $70. And so 70 cents per ml is the final price. And so I think that that's the most affordable clone on the market right now, which I think is a fantastic deal. If you are looking to purchase something at the most affordable price, I don't know how long he's going to run that promotion for, maybe through Cyber Monday as other companies are doing. Yeah, but this one is awesome. I really enjoyed the smell of Aventus Cologne. So this one smells really nice, but I'm not quite sure what it is, so I'm going to have to check. Oh, okay, yeah, this is one that I don't have a lot of experience with. This is called Oriental Oud, but this is their take on Dior's Purple Oud. So this is a very sort of leathery oud, and I want to say it's something that I've smelled before. I'm not quite sure where, but I really like the way that this is put together. And again, it does smell of really high quality. It smells of niche quality. And I don't have much experience with the original, as I said before, so I can't really comment on the similarities between the two. But this is really nice. This is a pleasant oud scent. However, a little bit more aggressive than their take on M7's original formulation, which is called Bravura. But if you're in the market for something a little more daring, I would go with this one. The third to last one. Okay. I am familiar with this one. Another oud, it seems. Yep. His Majestic Oud. So this is their take on Creed's Royal Oud. And you have that same sort of creamy, spicy, refined opening that you also get from the original Creed's Royal Oud. And yeah, this one, I have to spray this again because I really like the introduction of Royal Oud. So I remember one that I was talking about on the market, or an alternative. Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. There was a fragrance on the market by one of these Middle Eastern clone companies. I forget. It's in a black bottle with a clear cap. And I know I've reviewed it with my friend Carlos back in the day, and I'm not quite remembering the name of it. Something with black in the name, perhaps. And for the longest time, I was saying that that's the best alternative on the market, or the most inexpensive alternative. And this fragrance beats that by a mile. And so, wow, this is amazing. I am certainly looking forward to wearing this one more. And so thank you, Hassan. Yeah, but this is a really good, inexpensive alternative of Creed's Royal Oud if you're in the market for that. The second to last one is another really, really pleasant fragrance, but it seems like my nose is shot at the moment. Okay. So this one is called Undergrowth, and this is their take of Amouage's Bracken Man. This is very green, very earthy, but there's like a darkness about it, and it's also quite rich. I really enjoy that sort of foresty pine feel that you get from this one. I know this is one that's not going to be easily accessible for a lot of people, and this isn't going to be an immediate love for people. But if you're a fan of the more daring Amouage fragrances, and I know Fate is quite daring for me, Myths is very daring, Journey to some is daring, but I find it to be a very pleasant tobacco scent. But this one is just awesome. I really enjoy this one. And again, same thing that I can say about all of the others, I would also say about this one too. It just smells very strong to my nose, very strongly concentrated. And so I think that the performance of it is also going to be rather nice. Now, this is more of a first impression house overview. And so I haven't really given any of these a proper wearing, so please take that with a grain of salt. But if you are interested in me reviewing any of these in the future, just go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know which one you'd be interested in having me review. Okay, this one is awesome, and this brings back great, great, great memories for me. So this is their take of Dolce & Gabbana's The One Royal Night, which is a Dubai exclusive, so it's very hard to get your hands on. And I personally love this one because it does in many ways remind me of the original, which is the fragrance that I was wearing when I proposed to my wife. This is an awesome smell. So this is a much richer, more luxurious, opulent, Middle Eastern inspired version. You can tell it has more of those oriental nuances, maybe an amplified patchouli note, maybe a little bit of agarwood. It's definitely not as calm as the original. And I know a lot of people have that conflict with the original, that it's just very light and airy and wispy and the longevity is not there. I would imagine that given the concentration and the composition, this one would perform a lot better than the Eau de Toilette, and perhaps even better than the Eau de Parfum, which I also own and I've also purchased, and I enjoy them both all the same. But this is a true flanker in the sense that it doesn't smell identical to the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum, but it brings it in a really nice direction that I can definitely vibe with. And so I just want to thank you all once again for tuning in, and Hassan, thank you again for sending me 9 bottles. You sincerely didn't have to, and so I really do appreciate that gesture. It means a lot, and I am very happy to add these to my ever-growing collection. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know, what is your scent of the day, or which one of these fragrances would you be interested in having me review in a future video? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and remember to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon next to the subscribe button. This way, whenever I do upload future fragrance-related content, it will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.